Right. Okay, so today we are going over weird equations, and we're doing 2 days of this. Okay, so homework review.
Yeah, it will set you on the here, I'll put the link in the chat. Oh, Ishana, you're on the 3rd slide, so.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just going one at a time. Okay, so what is the last digit of 9 to the power of 77? So 9 to the power of 1 is equal to, has a last digit of 9, right? So actually, I should probably do 1. Okay, so it has a last digit of 9, and then 9 squared has a last digit of 1, as somebody wrote. And then 9 cubed has a last digit of 9. So we can see that it repeats every 2. So that means we just have to do 77 mod 2. So 77 is an odd number. So that means that it has 77 mod 2 is 1. So that means that we see that it will have a last digit of 9. So the answer was B.
Okay, so the second question, if everyone in Sydney's class is 12 years old and there are 29 kids, including Sydney, then what is the last digit of the product of all their ages? So for this one, we once again just list out the first couple powers of 12. So 12 to the first power is just 12, so that ends in the digit 2. 12 to the second power is 144, so that ends in the digit 4. 12 to the third power will end in the digit 8, and 12 to the fourth power will end in the digit 6, and after that it starts repeating all over again. And since there's 29 kids, then we do 29 mod 4, which again just finds the remainder when you divide 29 by 4. So the remainder when you divide 29 by 4 is 1. So that means 29 mod 4 is 1. So the last digit would be the same as the last digit of 12 to the first power. So the last digit would be 2.
Okay, so the last question, if you took 50 seconds to solve 50 problems, how fast are you in problems per second? So this one is pretty simple, but it's also really easy to like mess up. And you have to, it says problems per second. So you have to know which one to put on top, problems or seconds. Well, if it's problems per seconds, that means problems is at the top. I'm just gonna say prob for short. And then seconds is at the bottom. So if I just like plug in my numbers, 50 is at the bottom, and then 15 is at the top. And I can't choose this because it's not simplified. So I'm just gonna divide everything by 5, which gives me 3/10 problems per second. So it's B. Any questions about last week or this homework or anything we did so far? Okay, then we can just go back to our slides.
Okay, so we're going to start off by reviewing some sort of arithmetic properties that you should be sure to know. So first, commutative property. That just tells you that A plus B is the same thing as B plus A, or A times B is the same thing as B times A. So for addition and multiplication, the order does not matter. And next, the associative property. So this tells you that for addition and multiplication, you can like put parentheses, you can do one part first and then the second part, or the second part, then the first part, and you'll still get the same answer. But don't try doing this for like division or subtraction. because that could mess yourself up. And then the third one is distributive property. So if you have something multiplying by two things inside the parentheses, you can distribute them. So the problem we see is A times the quantity of B plus C, close quantity. And you can distribute the term outside the parentheses to the terms inside. So that, what I just said, is equivalent to A times B plus A times C. And then finally, we have the additive equality property. Oh, sorry, we'll start with the multiplicative. Okay, the multiplicative equality property tells you that if A equals B, then A times C equals B times C, which makes sense because you're multiplying two things that are the same by the same number. And then secondly, the additive equality property tells you that if A equals B, A plus C equals B plus C.
Okay, so in order to solve an equation, you have to do 3 steps basically. So you identify the variable you want to solve for, then you use algebraic manipulations to isolate the variable. So just saying to isolate the variable. And then you combine like terms by adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing both sides and taking the roots by to isolate it. And then you evaluate for that variable that you are solving.
Okay, let's do some practice for solving for a variable. So this first equation is 4m equals 8. So what would be the value of m?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The value of m would be 2, because for this one, we would use the equality, the multiplicative equality property. And you would like divide both sides by 4, or which is the same thing as multiplying both sides by 1/4. So that would give you m equals 2. Okay. So next one, 3 divided by c equals 7. What would be the value of c? So for this one, what we would do is we would first multiply both sides by c. After all, as long as we multiply both sides by the same value, then the equation will remain equal. So if we multiply both sides by c, then we'll get the c basically moves to the other side. So we get 3 equals 7c. And after that, we divide both sides by 7, and that gives us 3/7 equals c. So the value of c would be 3/7. But these types of questions can be kind of tricky whenever the variable is in the denominator, because then you sort of get confused and you might accidentally flip the numerator and denominator. So you have to be careful when solving those types of questions.
Yeah, also when you have something in the denominator, make sure you're checking to see if the expression evaluates to the denominator being 0, because if that does occur, then your answer is wrong or invalid, even though it might satisfy whatever like, algebraic manipulation you have. So, yeah.
Okay, next problem, 5/8 b equals 16. What is the value of b? So for this problem, what you can do is you can multiply both sides by 8/5. And this is kind of a weird number to multiply both sides by, but the reason why we're doing this is because what that does to the left side is that it cancels out all the constants on the left side of the equation, so that all that is left is the variable b. And that then just gives us the value of b when we evaluate the right side. So b equals 128/5. Okay, this one is a little bit more complex. 3a plus 8 equals 9a minus 10. What is the value of a? Yeah, you guys are all right. For this equation, we would subtract 3a from both sides first. And then after that, we would also add 10 to both sides. And what this does is that it moves all the variables of a to the right side and moves all the other numbers to the left side. So we have 18 equals 3 times a, or sorry, 6 times a. And then if you divide by 6 on both sides, then you'll get a equals 3.
Right? Here's the thing. I think it, okay. Hold on, let's just leave the game really.
Okay, this final question is a little bit more difficult, but don't let its size or all variables scare you. This one says 8 over z squared plus 2z equals 6z over 3 plus 2. And this last problem is the first one that is a little bit weird. Like all the other equations are actually regular equations, but this is our first weird equation. So how would you go about solving this? Multiply by z squared? I mean, would that be the first step you do? Look at this 2z and the 6z over 3 terms. Try simplifying some of the, yeah. So if you haven't noticed it already, basically there's this term on the right side of the equation that is 6z over 3. And at first that might just look like a fraction and you don't want to work with it. But if you look closely, if this fraction actually just cancels out to 2. So that term on the right side is just 2z. But the good news is that there's another term of 2z on the left side of the equation. So if you subtract 2z from both sides of the equation, that variable just completely disappears. So you no longer have to deal with it. And if we rewrite the equation now, it's now 8 over z squared equals 2. So this is easier to work with. So now we can now multiply both sides by z squared. And also if we divide both sides by 2, then that will give us z squared equals 4. So some of you guys put the answer of 2 in the chat, but there's also a second possible answer. Z could also be -2 because 2 times 2 is 4, but -2 times -2 is also 4. So this equation actually has 2 possible solutions, just plus or minus 2. Okay, now we're going to get into some really weird equations.
Okay, so we're gonna go over scary equations. So anybody notice anything weird on this slide? Wait, can you go back to the words? Yeah, something that looks a little unfamiliar, like in the words. Yeah.
Yes.
So the scary is spelled wrong, and it looks like scary or something. I don't know, but lots of times scary equations like the ones we're going to go over, they're not even actually scary. They just look kind of weird, like this misspelled word. So you can like become uncomfortable and not really know what to do, but it's actually just pretty simple once you figure out how to do it. So all you have to do is stay calm and find out the trick behind it, as we will see. Okay, so the first problem, we have this big equation and there's lots of really, really big numbers, and you might not even know how to really start. But the thing that is like helpful for you is I think it should be circled next. Like if you click next.
Yeah.
The constants should, oh yeah. So the ones, constants in the circles, they actually just all cancel out. So negative 333 and then 2,333, they're going to become 2,000. The other side also has a 2,000. So there's going to be no more constants, or the constant is going to be 0. So this means that if we set all of the like terms with x's on one side and then a 0 on the other, we don't even have to add all of the I'm blanking on the word, the coefficients, because once you add it, it's going to be some big number times x, which equals 0. So if you divide 0 by the big number that you came up with, it's still going to be x equals 0, no matter what the big number is, as long as it's not 0, and it's obviously not 0. So this just means that x equals 0. And we didn't really have to even like do any calculations. We just had to figure out it equaled 0 and we were done. Oh, so the first lesson is that stuff can cancel out.
All right, problem 2. If x is greater than 0, solve for x. And our problem is 5x squared plus 4x plus 1 equals 2 times the quantity of x squared plus 2x plus 14. So for this one, we're going to use one of the properties that I mentioned in that slide a long time ago. So in the chat, take a stab at which of the properties we're going to be using. All right, 2 people said distributive, and you guys are correct. So on the right side of the equation, we're going to distribute the 2 and then get rid of the parentheses. So we do 2 times x squared, which is 2x squared, plus 2 times 2x, which is 4x, plus 2 times 14, which is 28. And now our equation is much simpler. So now we can just subtract some things. So if we subtract 2x squared from both sides, we are just left with 3x squared. We can cancel out the 4x's, and you subtract 28. Oh, sorry, you subtract 1 from both sides as well. Now you're just left with 3x squared equals 27. So we divide both sides by 3, and we get x squared equals 9. And I see that someone said in the chat, x equals 3 or x equals -3, which is like technically true, but remember the directions in this problem say if x is greater than 0. Yeah, exactly. So the answer would just be 3.
Okay, so third problem. So simplify this expression. 5x squared times y to the -5th divided by 90 times x to the 4th times z to the -9 to the power of 0. So I see a lot of ones in the chat and that it's correct. So anything raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So it's just 1. So 0 is your hero. So yeah.
And this is another one. So simplify 30x to the -7, y to the 7, z to the -5 divided by 27y cubed, z to the -12 raised to the power of 7 squared minus 8 squared plus 15. Again, this is a gigantic exponential expression that you need to simplify. But wait, is it possible that how about we just check the exponent first, like, just in case, because this is kind of a crazy expression. So what is 7 squared minus 8 squared plus 15? What does that exponent evaluate to? Well, 7 squared is 49 and 8 squared is 64. So, and then you're adding 15. So that this expression up here will actually evaluate to 0. So, so that means you're raising this whole this big mess of an you're raising everything to the power of 0. So you don't need to do anything more. So since you're raising it to the power of 0, then it's just 1. So I think this question is important because sometimes the question isn't going to just tell you, oh, raise it to the 0 power. They're going to like try to like hide it in something else. But really, you just need to recognize it's just raising it to the 0. So
Okay, so now we're gonna do some weird operations. So what that means is, so like normal operations that we're familiar with, there's like addition, like the plus, and then subtraction, which is just like a horizontal line, but we know that that means to subtract, right? So there's also multiplication, an X looking thing, and then division, our weird looking operator. But sometimes math counts likes to mess with you and give you random like symbols as operators. So it could be the sun that you saw, or somebody in the chat did like the @ sign. That's also a good example. Or like lightning, some random symbol, but they're also not just gonna tell you to do it. They're gonna tell you what it means. They're not that mean. So like the one in the chat, it said that A at B is A squared plus B. So they're gonna define it for you. So question mark, question mark. Okay, so what do you do when you get a weird operation? So like I said, they'll tell you what it means. So for example, they might tell you that X, like hashtag Y is X plus Y minus 1. Okay, so to use this made up operation, this fake one, you just have to plug in the numbers they give you. So what would 2 hashtag 3 equal? Somebody tell me. Okay, I see a couple of answers already. Yeah, so you're right, it is 4. So all you have to do is put 2 as X and then 3 as Y, which would give 2 plus Y minus 1, which is 5 minus 1, which is 4. So yeah, note, these are actually just made up. They're not real. So if you try to use this on like some other problem, it's going to be wrong.
All right, so in problem 1, we have our operation being the @ symbol, which someone actually put in the chat. So maybe you can see the future. But in this problem, A at B equals A divided by 2A plus B. And so the question asks you, what is 5 at 3? Express your answer as a common fraction. So go ahead and try it on your own.
Wait, what does @ represent?
So at is basically just the symbol as a stand-in for the thing that's on the right of that. So basically you would take 5 and 3, 5 equals A and 3 is B. And then you just plug it into that equation, A divided by 2A plus B. So that's how this type of problem works.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question. Okay, so it seems like most people are saying 5 over 13. 2 people said 3 over 13. But let's go ahead and take a look at this problem. So if we just plug in 5 for all the A's and 3 for the B, then you get 5 divided by 2 times 5 plus 3. And then if you continue to simplify, you get 5 divided by 10 plus 3, which equals 5 divided by 13. It's a good job. You guys are getting this, I think.
Okay, so problem 2, again, another made up operation. So we're given that A question mark B is equal to A squared plus B. Let A and ampersand B equal A question mark B squared. What is 7 ampersand A? 8. So in the chat, put your answers. So this is more of a compound like thing because you're doing because you have more going on. So, yeah. I'm seeing a couple answers in the chat, so I'll give you about 30 more seconds. And then okay, so we have a percent b is equal to a question mark b squared. So that means that 7n percent 8 is equal to 7 question mark 8 squared, which is 7 question mark 64. So in this scenario, we would have to plug in 7 for a and 64 for b, and we get 49, which is 7 squared, plus b, which is 64. So we get 49 plus 64. So we get 113 when we add them together. So good job to everybody in the chat. I think everybody put 113. So good job.
Okay, a third problem. Let some smiley face represent a binary operator. If 16 smiley face 4 equals 4 and 12 smiley face 6 equals 2, then evaluate 56 smiley face 8. So this question is a little bit weird because it doesn't actually tell you what smiley face means, but you probably will be able to tell based on the questions they gave you. Oh, wow. I think a lot of you guys have already put in your answers. So I'll just go over it right now. So 16 smiley, well, first, binary operator, don't get thrown off by that. Binary operator just means you take in 2 inputs and you output one thing. So in other words, you take in 2 numbers, you perform an action and then output something else. So you guys probably all noticed that 16 smiley face 4 equals 4. So that happens to be the 16 divided by 4 equals 4. And just to confirm that, 12 smiley face 6 equals 2, which happens to also be 12 divided by 6 equals 2. So once you have that information, you can basically assume now that you're basically performing division. So then when you try to evaluate 56 smiley face 8, then you can just do 56 divided by 8, and that gives you the answer of 7. So the lesson from this problem is that even though sometimes the meaning of a certain operator isn't given, you can sort of assume what it means based on the patterns math counts gives you.
Okay, our last example with weird equations. So I think this one looks the most intimidating, in my opinion. So first we see that a like asterisk b equals b radical a to the b. So we have to do 2 asterisks parentheses, 3 asterisks 2 close parentheses. So what we need to remember here is our order of operations. This is from like long time ago. But since they're both multiplication and one of them is in parentheses, we have to use our trusty friend PEMDAS and do the second part in the parentheses first. So we're gonna put 3 as our A and then 2 as our B. So that's gonna become 3, B's first, 2 and times the square root of 3 squared. Well, the square root of 3 squared, that's just 3, right? So then 3 times 2 is 6. Now we have to do 2 asterisks 6. So you have to make sure you're using the 6 since that's what we got. So now we do 6 times the square root of 2 to the 6. Well, we can break up the 6 into 2 times 3 for just convenience. And that will give us, the 2 will like cancel out with the radical. So that's just gonna give us 2 to the 3rd, which is 8 times 6, which is 48. So our final answer is 48, which is what some of you guys put. So good job.
Right, now we're going to learn how to take shortcuts, which is going to be very helpful because a lot of the times you're going to find yourself in a time crunch on like a math counts test. So you need to figure out which problems you can do with a shortcut to just get it done faster. And so our lesson here is sometimes you don't even have to solve for x to get the answer. So we have 7x plus 13 equals 328, and we need to find the value of 14x plus 26. So what's the easiest way to go about doing this? Type in the chat, what strategy should we use? I think 2 of you already got the answer. So how did you get that answer? Yeah, exactly. So what we would do is just multiply that first equation by 2, because that would just get us 14x plus 26. And then 328 times 2 is 656. And that is our answer. So you could have gotten this question done in like 5 seconds. And that would have saved you a lot of time.
Okay, problem 2. So if x plus 3y is equal to 4 and 3x plus y is equal to 8, solve for x plus y. So, okay, so there are many ways you could do this. You could, but there's one shortcut, which is there. And also in a lot of systems of equations you're given, especially if they have like, I don't know, 3 variables or like multiple variables more than 2, they will probably have it where if you take this shortcut, it would help you easily solve for them. And it's the way that they want you to solve because it'll make it easier on you. Okay, so I'm gonna give you all 2 minutes and then, yeah. Okay, so I am seeing many answers in the chat. I know it hasn't been 2 minutes, but yeah. So I see many 3s. So the way you are supposed to solve this is if you see x plus 3y equals 4 and 3x plus y equals 8 can be added together to get you 4x plus 4y is equal to 12, right? And we're solving for x plus y, right? So that means we want to just divide both sides by 4 because you have to do an operation to both sides, and you get x plus y is equal to 3. If you really wanted to solve it, you could. However, that would have taken much more of your time. Yeah, so you could solve this the hard way, but taking shortcuts is the best way. And also, in most like multivariable systems of equations, they'll ask you to find the sum of the solution, like the sum of A, B, and C, and that's how they'll expect you to do it.
Okay, So now we have an interesting problem. Evaluate the product 1/2 times 2/3 times 3/4 times 4/5, and it goes on and on and on and on until you go reach times 99 over 100, and then it stops. So it wants you to find the product of this entire thing. So what are you gonna do? Because if this is a hint, please do not multiply this out by hand. That would not be fun. It would take a long time, and then your hand would fall off. So because your hand would be so tired. So the hint is that look for patterns, or maybe look for stuff that can cancel out, because that might help. So the way this expression is written right now, it's kind of hard to tell. So let's sort of write out a few more terms. So Ishani, if you click. So now we can see more of the pattern, right? So we have 1/2 times 2/3 times 3/4. And you might notice that the 2 in the denominator of the 1/2 will actually cancel out with the 2 in the numerator of the 2/3. So like that cross thing right there, that actually just cancels out if you click one, or you could circle it. So then the same thing goes for the 3s, and then it'll eventually also go for the 4s, the 5s, the 6s. It'll just all cancel out along the diagonals until you're left with nothing but the first one in the 1 in the numerator and the 100 in the denominator. And because of that, that's your answer, because you're just left with 1 over 100. Everything else just cancels out.
Okay, so the fourth problem is we are trying to find the sum of this long, I guess, sequence. So it's 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7, blah, 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 blah. It's starting from 1, and the common difference is 2. So we're adding 2 each time to get the next term. And now what we're trying to do is, well, we don't really want to add it by hand, because in the beginning it might be kind of easy, but then near the end you will probably be really, really tired. So we have a method that helps us add arithmetic sequences. So first we need to know how many numbers there are. So in order to do this, for this problem, we're going to do a little clever manipulation to find the number of numbers. So first, we're going to add 1 to all of our numbers. So instead of 1, 3, 5, 7, blah, 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 now it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, all the way up to 100. And then somebody already told us in the chat, now what we can do is divide all the numbers by 2, which would give us a 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah type of sequence. And since it starts at 1 and it's going up by 1, we know that the last number tells us how many numbers there are. So there's 50 numbers. I will confirm if you got it right or wrong in just a second. Okay, so now what we do is when you add sequences like this, you can add the first and last number, because so do 1 plus 99. That's 100, right? The term before 99, we can't see it right now, but it's 97. 97 plus 3 is also 100. The third term plus the third to last term is also 100. So all of the pairs, when you do the front and the back each time, they're all 100. And since there's 50 numbers, well, that means there's 25 pairs, right? 2 numbers make up 1 pair. So then that means 25 pairs times 100 is 2,500. So you were right, Charles.
My dad made me do the same exact question yesterday, except up to 1,997.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty sure that's called the little Gauss method, right?
I don't know.
I mean, he was the one who like came up with like this method of adding the front and the back numbers.
Isn't there like the famous story of him in class or something? And like,
Yeah, his teacher wanted the class to like be quiet or something. So like she told them to like add up all the numbers from like 1 to 100. But while everyone else was just adding it up one by one, Gauss, he just figured out this method and was like done in a couple of seconds.
yep.
Right. And then the teacher was like, wow, you're so smart. Yeah. Okay.
No, because then the teacher had to find out if the numbers he added up were correct.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay, problem 5. Same principles as the ones before it. So we have this thing that looks very, very complex, and it would take you ages to do by hand. But let's see if you guys can spot the pattern and figure out the easy way to get to the answer. So I'll give you guys a while to think about it on your own, and then we'll go through it.
Can I do what you told me not to do?
Nothing's stopping you. It's just highly not recommended.
The reason that I think it's communication is because it's asking how many possible like whatever instance we can make. In this case, the order does matter. And they're just saying that the position of the unselected plant doesn't matter. That's kind of like always the case, like whatever you don't choose doesn't really matter.
Right. Has anyone figured it out yet? All right, so let's look at this and see what kind of pattern we can notice with like canceling stuff out.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to explain?
3 squared minus 1 squared, 9 minus 1 is 8. The next one minus together is 16. The next one minus together is 24. So it's add 8 every time, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You guys are right.
Yeah, you can do it that way, but there is actually an easier way, an even easier way than that. So let's start with that 1 squared. And you can notice next there's a minus 1 squared, and those cancel out. And then that 3, it's at, like say there's a parentheses, the 3 is the first term in the parentheses, and then it cancels out with the 3 in the next set of parentheses. That 3 is the like second term in the parentheses. All right, and that goes on and on and on. The 5 squared will also cancel out until you get to 99 squared minus 97 squared. So the term before that, we can say, we can extrapolate that the term before that is 97 squared minus 95 squared. And the 97 squareds are going to cancel out, but the 99 squared is left. And there's no minus 99 squared. And so that is our answer. Yeah, whoever put that in the chat is correct. So what is 99 squared? Come on, guys, you can do it. 99 squared. Yeah, the people like who noticed the multiples of 8, that is also correct. And you can do it that way, but it'll just be hard.
We can see the 9801 underneath the words.
Oh,
Pretend like
pretend
you
like
couldn't.
you couldn't see it. All right, 9801 is correct. Good job.
Okay, problem 6. Evaluate and express your answer in a common fraction. So 2 divided by open quantity 4 plus open quantity 1 divided by open quantity 6 plus open quantity 1 over 8 plus quantity for everything, basically. Right, so evaluate that.
No one's saying the same answer. Wait, what does it mean by common fraction?
Just a
So-
regular fraction.
Yeah.
But no mixed fractions.
Right.
Okay.
So simplified and what's it called? Where it's like, yeah, no mixed fraction. Okay, so I'll give you all like another minute.
I think somebody has almost the right answer.
Oh, wait.
Okay, so I will go over it. So what we have to do, as said by lesson 9, which is probably like lesson 4 or 3 actually, but you have to just evaluate it one at a time. You have to actually do it. There's no shortcut. So what you do is you first evaluate this. So you want to do it in an irrational, I think it's whatever it is, right? Not in a mixed fraction. You don't want to do it as a mixed fraction while you're solving it, because when you're doing like 1 over something, you're just finding the reciprocal, meaning you're switching where the numerator and denominator are. And if you have like 3.5 and you're doing the reciprocal, it's not just going to be 3 plus 2. It's going to be it's not going to be 3 plus 2 as the reciprocal. The 3.5 is 7 over 2. So you would want to do 2 over 7 to find the reciprocal, for example, right? So evaluate everything as a mixed fraction, or not as a mixed fraction. So this would be 6 plus 1 over 8, which is 49 over 8, right? And then we're doing 1 over 49 over 8. So we have 8 over 49, right? And then now we're adding 4, right? So 4 multiplied by 49, so 4 multiplied by 49 is equal to 196, right? Yeah, 196. And then you add 8 to that and you get 204 over 49. Now you do 2 divided by that, meaning that you do 2 multiplied by 49 divided by 204. And you're going to get 49 over 102. Yeah, 98. Sorry, I didn't.
You'll simplify.
49 over 102, right? So I think a few people, one person or 2 people, or no, 3 people, right? Anyways, people got the right answer, so good job. And if you didn't get the right answer, remember, make sure you're like checking your work while you're doing it, like while you're doing practice problems, because that'll help you catch mistakes right after you do them, if you do them at all in the actual test, right? So, yeah.
Here is another question where at least pretty much you just have to work it out. So evaluate and express your answer not as a common fraction, because you do not need to do that for this question. So 2 times the quantity of 1 plus 2 times the quantity of 1 plus 2 times the quantity, all the way until you reach the inner parentheses where it's just 1 plus 7. So yeah, you just have to do these types of questions. These types of questions, you just have to be careful not to make a mistake. It looks like we have 2 competing answers in the chat. Okay, let's go over the question and see which answer is right. So for this one, it would obviously you guys might, it's a little bit harder doing it from a computer because you know, you might accidentally do the parentheses too many times. But you start from the inside parentheses, right? So the inside parentheses is 1 plus 7, and that's just 8. So far so good. Then you multiply that by 2. So 2 times 8 then would be 16. Then you add the 1 from the inside that same parentheses, and that gives you 17. And so far we've completed 2 sets of parentheses. So now we do it again. So 2 times 17 is 34. 34 plus 1 is 35. Then we do it again. 35 times 2 is 70. And 70 plus 1 is 71. And now we do it again. 71 times 2 is 142. Plus 1, that is 143. And now we have our last operation, which is just times 2. So that gives us the answer of 286. So good job to you guys who got 286 as your answer.
Okay, now it's time for even more competition. Woo! Okay, so today we have like combined classes, right? So it's gonna be one really big Kahoot. So whoever wins, that says a lot about how good you are. So yeah, you can go if you need to. Okay, let's see who does well. This will be interesting. Best time of the
I'm
week.
not gonna win.
Oh, and
You can still
why-
try.
Why did we combine classes? This is our special experiment for this week. We're probably going to go back for next week, but I hope you guys had fun.
It was nice. Yes, I think it's nice too. Extra competition, yes. Okay, and so since we want to actually like do the Kahoot and now have to skip things, we will probably start at 4 at the latest. It might just be me, but like this screen is like really weird looking. It keeps like,
Yeah, it keeps flickering.
yeah.
Oh, well, it's not. Wait, let me reshare.
I don't know if it's just me. I guess it's not, but you're Ishani. Nice to meet you.
That is nice to know someone stole my identity. You know? Thanks for giving me a heads up about identity theft.
I is SpongeBob. Interesting. You guys have 1 minute to join the game. Maybe it's really fun.
Okay, it's 4. So we are starting. Okay, wait. Mouse. Okay, so if you all aren't in, you can still join. You just won't win. You know?
Unless you get everything right really fast. That could be a possibility.
Okay, it's 144. So you have 12 numbers, right? So we know that. So we have 12 multiplied by, and then the 12th odd number is, remember, it's right before the 12th even number, and the 12th even number is 24 because 12 times 2. So we have 23, right? And then you have the first odd number, which is 1, so 24 is the sum of a pair. And then remember, we have to divide by 2 because otherwise we'll be pretending like they're 12 pairs when they're really only 6. So that gets us 12 times 12, which is 144. So, yeah. First place is in first place. Special. Okay, solve for the positive value of x. Okay, so the answer is 1. Okay, so basically, okay, so we have this equation. So we get 2x squared is equal to, and then the 4x's cancel out. Remember, we subtracted the 3x squared. So pretend like this isn't here. Then we subtract the 3 from both sides, and we get 2 is equal to 2x squared. So that means 1 is equal to x squared. And remember, we find the square root of both sides. So that gives us plus or minus 1. However, we have to find the positive value. So that means our answer is positive 1. So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So what is the sum of all the integers from -12 to 14? And if this isn't, like, this is a hint, but -12 plus 12 is equal to 0. You know, if you needed to hear that.
No, it's not. It's equal to 12.
Obviously, math.
Math be fun.
Yeah. Okay, so -12 to 12. So -12 plus 12 is 0. -11 plus 11 is 0. -10 plus 10 is 0. You get the gist. So everything between -12 and 12 adds up to 0. So we don't care about that. So essentially what we're doing is adding 13 and 14, which gives us 27.
Cut out.
Oh, rip. Well, everything from -12 to 12 adds up to 0 because it cancels out. So we're just adding 13 and 14, you know? So 27.
First place is in first place.
Yeah.
The correct answer is not on there.
Oops. Sorry.
Everyone gets 19.
Or everyone can guess like
Just
21.
pretend there's a negative sign in front of everything, I think.
I don't think.
I
Wait.
think.
Yeah.
Pretend there's, okay. Yeah, just pretend there was like a negative sign in front of everything. And then
I told everyone to guess 19.
Yeah. Okay.
People don't trust you.
Okay, so Mops is in first place and Colin is the highest climber. Good job.
First place is in
Not
fourth
Rick,
place.
obviously.
Wait, I'm the
Yeah.
highest climber.
Red.
Yes.
Yeah, see, you could do it. We believe in you.
2-1 times up.
Everybody just spam the button in the first few seconds.
Everybody should know the answer, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
I am somewhat disappointed in you all. Okay. To the 3 people who said 0, remember that like anything raised to the 0th power is 1. So anything multiplied by itself 0 times is 1, essentially. Like, yeah. There are proofs but like, for example, 2 to the power of 2 divided by 2 to the power of 2 would be 2 to the power of 0 because the exponents would cancel and it's equal to 1. So yeah, it's 1. You know? Okay, 49x squared is equal to 9. We find this.
What the heck?
Hint, 49 squared is 2,401. I think.
Big things.
Yeah.
I've guessed every single question. It's an experiment, just like this week.
Ooh.
Come on, I was trying to give you a big hint.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I'm still in 13th place.
Ooh. Okay, so 49 squared is 2,401. So that would mean, and x squared is equal to x to the power of 4. So that means we just have to square both sides of this equation and we get 9 squared, which is 81. So yeah, I gave you a big hint. Why did you all not take the hint? You know, the pain. Okay, winner AR, I think that's Advika, right? You rose 3 places. Good job.
He's in 13. Unlucky.
Oh my gosh, this formatting is torture.
It is pretty bad. I'm pretty sure you can like do it like the right way on Kahoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
The formula was bad.
Yeah.
I think that's why I made the timer really long. Was because of formatting.
Right.
This is what you guess, guys. You can instantly get a question. There's only a 1 in 4. There's a huge 1 in 4 chance of getting it right. That's an amazing chance.
Yeah. A 1 in 4 chance is greater than the 0% chance you have if you spend the whole time doing the work and then you don't have enough time to click. So, yeah.
Exactly, right?
This is
Right.
what you use math for.
Right. To justify your bad decisions. Okay, so we have x squared and 4x squared, so that's just 3x squared, right? And then we have 3x squared here, so they actually cancel out. And then you have 7x, and then you have negative 6x, so that's 13x when we add 6x to both sides. And then we add 3 to both sides, and we get 20. So that gives us the answer of 20 over 13, right? So I'm actually surprised. Around the same amount of people got it right as they did for what's any number raised to the power of 0. So I'm kind of disappointed, right? But you know, yeah. Maybe it just means you all are really smart and just don't know that x to the power of 0 is 1, you know? Or it could mean you all just, yeah.
Or maybe you're just guessing.
Right, maybe.
Blue, obviously. 1 is a 1.
Obvious. Yeah. I have a hint for you all. 0 comes between negative 20 and 20.
No, it
You gave
doesn't.
away the answer.
I know, but I gave it in the last
Anything
4
times 0
seconds.
is 0.
Let's go, we got it right.
Imagine actually pressing red.
Right.
Anything times 0 is 0.
Right. And 0 is between negative 20 and 20. So fun fact, 0 times whatever is 0. And yeah, it would have been green. And a lot of you got this right, so good job. To the people who said 1, I don't know how you can mathematically justify your answer in any way, you know? So,
Nobody picked yellow.
right. Wait, what was? Oh yeah, yellow is like the negative version. So yay. At least you knew your signs, you know? Yeah.
It's 23. I guessed it, so it's right because I said so.
It is though.
Yes.
Like no doubt, it is correct.
I don't know if you should trust this one.
It is green though, so like yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
it is- The people who didn't listen are sorry.
Is Colin inspirational?
It depends on who you ask, I'm assuming. Okay, so 7.
At least I took a lot of people down with me.
Right. The point is, you were believable enough that someone actually listened, right? Okay, so 7x plus 14 is equal to 8x minus 32. It's essentially what this is. So you get x because you can subtract 7x from both sides, and then you add 32 to both sides, and you get 46. So that is the answer. So yeah, the people who said 23, next time don't listen to people giving away free answers. They're probably wrong, you know?
Like buying, like when someone gives you a free offer is probably wrong. When someone gives you 30 free answers, it's probably.
Kahoot is amazing.
At this point, it's guess or die. Right? It was like,
You know, you
it's
can get really
hard to
lucky.
tell.
I voted
I
17.
believe in your luck.
It wasn't right.
I have a hint. A negative times a negative times a negative is negative. You know, just wanted to say that. So it wouldn't have been 1 or 17 because anything raised to the negative power is a fraction. And when you do that, it's the reciprocal. So to the power of whatever it would be if you did not have the sign. So if you had like 3 to the negative 2, that would be 1 over 3 to the power of 2. So 1 over 3 to the power of 2 is less than negative. It's like its absolute value is less than -8. So it would have been negative. So you already narrowed it down to the bottom 2. And also, because you're adding to the negative number, right, you're reducing the absolute value. So it would be -71 over 9, right, you know? Or you could
I've
actually
been taken over by Chunky Bottom J.
question mark, you know? Just questionable name. But okay. Okay, Sigma Sid is the highest climber. I do not know if that
And
is
first
a reference.
place has 6,900 points. That's a really nice number.
Right. But they
So
are in
funny.
first place.
I don't know.
Guys, let's vote green.
And
My
They're
sister
not
told me it was
perfect.
green. I don't trust her, but screw that.
how old is your sister? Is she older than
She's
you?
8.
Well,
I'm taking a 3rd grader's guess.
okay, well.
8-year-old sister totally tracks me.
I think a 3rd grader is very reliable, and you should totally listen to your sister.
By the way,
And-
it is green. It's green. No
Oh,
doubt.
by the way, this question is sort of a trick question because you think there might be stuff canceling out.
But it's actually green. Oh no! No, I'm still behind Chunky Bottom J.
Okay.
This is one of those grit your teeth questions. You just have to multiply it out. But there is a tip you can use. If you
Guess.
no.
Yeah.
Simplify every fraction first, and you get
Let's go. I
1/2
took 3 people
times
down
3/4
with me.
times 5/6 times 7/8 times 9/10, right? So all the things in the bottom are multiples of 2, right? And everything in the top is not a multiple of 2, right? So that means the stuff in the bottom, you can just choose an answer based on the denominator because the denominator of the answer has to have the power of 2, the number of 2's like in the denominator. So it's kind of hard. That's just how I did
That
it.
helps us out a lot. That
Yeah,
makes
I
us
know.
guess.
I'm glad to help.
One guaranteed way to get your answers right every time: open up 4 accounts for Kahoot and pick a different answer each time. Guaranteed to get it right.
Right. Well,
Technically,
you'd have to
that
open up
is-
But
more.
you would need like some kind of transferring points hack.
Yeah.
Right, so you'd have to open up like 4 to the power of x, where x is the number of questions, right? That's
Yeah.
the number, So you'd get at least one which has everything right.
I just stared at the question for like 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours and 4 seconds, the amount of like efficiency you must have.
Oh no, the
to
cat
spend.
fell.
Yeah, okay, so you just multiply this by 2. I think it's pretty straightforward.
Be quiet, Claire. I should have trusted my sister. She said it was
Right.
red.
With the moment when your sister, a 3rd grader, knows more about math than you.
I chose blue.
Okay, so yeah, you multiply by 2. 201 times 2 is 402. And yeah.
I chose 169 because, suspicious numbers.
I think I got it wrong.
Hint, he
That
was
dog.
actually right
Good dog.
this time. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Well, yeah, so you multiply by 2, you get 36 plus 20 is equal to 194. And then if you put 194, I'm disappointed in you because 20 is not -5. Right? Just things you might need to hear. And then you subtract 25 and then you get 169. So good job, Colin, for your guessing game, So yeah. Imagine losing is increasing.
What?
This is very hard.
I think it's the hardest one ever.
Yeah.
The most
I don't-
scary expression out of them all.
Right, I don't think anyone can get this right.
Surgery. This is that hard.
Yes, this is.
I think it's 385.
That's what I said.
Oh no, 3 people got it wrong.
I'm happy that 2 people guessed green.
Who would get that one wrong? It's so hard.
I can understand guessing green, but I cannot understand guessing 2. Like, of all the things, 1 plus 2 is not 2, and for whoever needs to hear that, just
No, I have mathematical proof. 1 plus
There
2
is.
2 because I said so.
Oh my
Yeah.
Very
cool.
mathematical.
We're mathematical.
Maybe they thought it was 2 divided by 1.
Maybe.
maybe.
I don't
Maybe they
know.
read things backwards.
Right. Okay, my
Is your
battery is-
computer? Uh-oh,
Yes,
Shawnee's
yes.
is going to. Oh
my
no.
computer is running low
Hurry.
on battery.
Hurry,
And it is-
Shawnee.
Okay, I do not know what I did, but it is plugged in.
Okay.
Okay, so Mops has a streak with 14 correct answers in a row. Good job to Mops.
Holy
Sweeping
crap.
everyone.
I had 13.
Oh,
You got a question wrong, but moved up the play.
That means some other people got it wrong too.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I put my life insurance on my sister for this question. Yeah! Good job, Claire.
okay, so it is 3/5. So you can either do math or you can guess. So yeah. So this would be 2, and then this would be 1/2. So 3. So 1/2 plus 1 is 3/2, right? And then that would be 2/3. 2/3 plus 1 is 5/3, and then you get 3/5 when you find the reciprocal of that. What would have been better? Just like accidentally clicking your screen and getting it right. Which also works. So for the people who said 1/2, I'm assuming you guessed wrong. At least no one said 2/3.
2/3 is actually 1 plus 1. Or 1 plus 1.
Good news, I have passed Chunky Bottom J. Bad news, I am behind a person called
Oh no.
me. Capitalization me. M-E.
Yolanda
Hey.
should just stop because she's Mops. Like, it's obvious.
Monkey boy J.
Is she though?
My brother's
Yeah,
chunky
it's
boy. I know, right?
Wait,
She is.
double points? This is double points? It was not supposed to be double points. Oh yeah, it was. Never mind.
So I think you should guess on this because
It's
I think you should.
It's the.
And what-
trust me and just guess.
Isn't it every answer?
It's
Isn't
the
every
gold.
answer?
It's the yellow.
Every
You're not
answer is
supposed to say that.
Well, I didn't say anything and no one can say otherwise.
Yay, everyone got it right.
So,
Unless you
Okay.
didn't click.
Now I
Yeah.
will give you, whoa, Yashani, I want to give people fun facts. Wait, show the fraction.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, the show median. Yeah, if you kept going, that gives you all of those. That's the golden ratio, which is also known as phi. And the value of phi is the square root of 5 plus 1 divided by 2, which is also equal to 1.61803.
what is
Yeah.
phi?
It's a squiggly thingy.
It would have
Ishani,
been.
draw
it
the
would've
phi
been better.
symbol.
I do
would've
not
been
know how
better
the
if
phi
it's
symbol
stem.
works. I have gone my
Oh,
whole life just saying the golden ratio.
Just draw a loop thingy.
It sounds like a
No,
Korean
That
word.
draw
like
like
a
a
looking
loop and then
Is
no.
it?
Draw like
Draw a circle.
Oh,
it's like
kind of
here
sideways.
and then you go down.
It's basically a circle with a line through it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we did that in class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's this. Yeah,
Yeah,
I drew that.
That's phi.
What
Yeah.
the heck?
Okay, you don't
Right.
need to know that though. That
And
was
then
just a fun fact.
And then isn't it used in like 75, 75, 45 triangles or something? I don't know.
75, 75, 45 would not be a triangle.
Wait, yeah.
First place.
First
in-
place,
is
you
in
were
third.
actually not in first place.
First
So
place
that's
is a
like
lie.
Imagine losing. in second.
Imagine losing
It's that
to one
mop
person.
guy.
And
Yeah,
Mops
Mop.
is in first place.
Who is
And then
Mop?
in fourth place
Yeah,
we have Am I Aryan.
And winner is.
Guys,
And
who is
okay,
Mop?
who's in sixth place?
I'm in 10th from guessing.
Oh wow.
I'm very
Who's in
disappointed
sixth
in
place?
everyone.
Wait. Who's in sixth place?
Let's see.
Oh wait, it doesn't tell you places, doesn't it? Okay, never mind.
It's this.
Okay.
Wait,
I
you see
is-
me at the bottom? You see me at
Okay,
the bottom?
wait, okay. Let's review our identities. Who's Mops?
I
Mops
wonder.
is a bot. It's Yolanda. I told you it was a new.
Who's Imagine Losing?
I don't know, but I agree with that. Imagine
Mops is Amy. Amy scammed us all.
How do you lose? Wait, is last place losing or is everything but first place losing?
everything but the podium is obviously.
Why did the
losing.
person who named himself me get 0? I am disappointed.
Johnny Tarkar gets 0 points.
The pain. The pain.
Your reputation is ruined.
Rest in peace,
Exactly.
Rishi. I
Oof.
only got one wrong. Rip.
Wait, who is first place?
Amy was first place.
I wonder
Oh.
who Chunky Bottom J is.
It's Jay is
I
first.
wonder who Colin is.
Wait, I'm so
No,
confused.
yeah, I wonder who 0, L, Lula, 1, and
SpongeBob?
Who is first place? If you want points, speak up. Who is
Well,
Am I Aryan?
Amy doesn't get points.
Is Aryan?
Yes, obviously.
plot twisted
I mean,
me.
it could be a friend pretending to be you.
No.
Who is I is SpongeBob?
He do be SpongeBob though.
Who was Mops?
Okay, we have Aya SpongeBob in the chat. Wait, who is Am I Aryan?
That's me.
It's actually Aryan.
Oh, actually? Okay, I'm just checking. Because we've got lots of impersonators. Reputations. You have multiple reputations.
Wait, who's
Yes.
E and me?
Maybe they're the same person.
Guys,
Wait.
did you know that Zoom reactions has all the emojis?
Wait, guys, of all these people, can you separate them into the the people that are in the first class, and people that are in the second class. I wonder what I got from guessing in the first class.
Okay.
We could,
That is
but we would have to figure out
difficult.
who is everyone. Because
Right.
Mops is me. First place is
Someone. Wait, Kayang, were you in this?
I don't know. Just imagine losing.
Oh, were you?
Oh, wait, I get it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh,
Well,
okay.
Ariane is in the second class, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So is Advika, which is who is a winner AR.
Who's SpongeBob? I forgot.
Is
Oh,
that
that's-
Charles?
That's Priya, I
Is it-
think, or
oh.
something.
Is perfect.
Pursu?
Yeah, Preston.
Okay.
Then who's E and me? Me is
Me is
Sanvi.
Sanvi.
Me is
Okay, I
Sanvi
could guess that.
is
Okay.
Sanvi in the first or second?
Oh,
Daraj is E.
Sanvi's in second.
Michael Chan is Charles.
Colin
Who's
was.
No.
second
Wait,
class?
what?
No, I
Charles
didn't
is
get
in
any
the second
points.
one, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. I
You're
actually got
third,
1
just
point from
from
guessing.
guessing.
Oh my god.
Wait, let's write down those
My
names.
I have them written down.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
Yep.
Okay, Jay is in the first class, right?
Our teachers got the podium. Well,
I'm
obviously.
pretty sure SpongeBob is in second class.
He's Prothea.
Yolanda, did you not play?
I did not participate because I don't believe in scamming our students.
Whoa, that is hypocrisy right there.
I don't believe in scamming them out of a place they rightfully deserve on the Kahoot podium.
Okay. Whatever.
You're welcome, guys.
This is the more mature one.
Minutes later. Imagine not believing in scamming the students. Okay, but that's first time I'm looking at you and I'm disappointed in you right now. Okay, I don't know who you are, but
Yeah.
ouch. Well, okay. So yeah, that was today's class. How did you all like being in one class?
I hated it.
Oof, ouch. Okay, I'm
No,
going.
no, I don't know.
Okay, wait.
I
Let me
loved
see.
it. That was nice. It's okay. Awesome. Hate. Mixed feelings, I guess.
Okay, so everybody, put a reaction.
If you liked this class, you can do a
Thumbs up.
thumbs up, I
Thumbs
guess.
Thumbs up. Thumbs
If
up
you-
if you liked it. Thumbs down if you really did not.
And if you didn't feel anything, just put like a medium kind of thingy.
Or you can just do any other emoji and then we'll just pretend you were okay.
Wait, who's E again?
E is, oh my gosh.
Either Aishwarya, I think.
That was Prithu or something.
Prithu. Or yeah, Prithu or Dheeraj.
No,
I think.
Prithu is
Dheeraj.
I is SpongeBob. Who's
Oh wait,
E?
then it's
Oh,
Dheeraj.
Draj.
Is it
Dheeraj?
Dheeraj?
It is. I
He
have
is.
it written down, guys.
Well, anyways.
You can go if you need to. So have a good week, guys. Come back
Alright,
next class.
bye. Well, no, well, I mean, this is the end of the week, so.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, see you all next time. We are going to decide if we're gonna do it in 2 classes or 1, or yeah, if we're gonna combine them or not. So yeah.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
guys. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Stop the recording.
Yes, I am attempting to